January 27, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. It was another really slow day, similar to yesterday, where there's just not that much happening. The price action is really slow. It took quite a while for candles to print. I did manage to take one trade today, and actually, in hindsight, it wasn't the best trade. And then there was a better setup shortly after, and I'll get to those. And other than that, I didn't really see that many setups. Well, really any setups, because I think in my notes I only marked down two setups, and one of them I took. So it was the only economic data that came out, according to Forex Factory, was maybe the consumer confidence, which came out around 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is about right here. Other than that, didn't really do much. I believe it's because the FOMC rate decision is coming out tomorrow, and that's usually, as I mentioned before, the Monday and Tuesday before that date. The market's really slow as people are just kind of angling to be positive or negative, and so nothing really happened. On top of that, there was just no economic data. So slow day, very similar to yesterday, just kind of noisy, not much happening. I'm going to see if I can get through this pretty quickly because there's really not that much to talk about. The orange up channel. So pre-market prices are moving up this orange up channel break, test the high, moves down, almost looks like it was one attempt, two attempts. So it was like two legs down, then it moves sideways. I saw this, well, not in real time, but I saw this later and I thought, well, maybe there was a trade here. It's like a localized low. Looks like it's one attempt pullback, second attempt. Maybe a failed breakout of this potential range. So maybe a second entry short right here, but it's not that, it's not pertinent to me because I don't trade the pre-market, especially right here where the timestamp is 4 a.m. Pacific Standard. The prices move in the sideways consolidation. It started to look like it was moving down this orange down channel, and there was a new low, first entry short, potential second entry short. I like that. So in real time, you don't know that it's in a channel, or you don't. I'm not sure it's in a channel, but I did see something like this. This, unfortunately, this signal bar is a doji, but I thought there might have been a possible trade, but there's just barely enough for 1 point scalp. So just something I noticed. I saw it in real time, wanted it to finish a little bit better and maybe have a little bit more room, but nothing set up there, so I'd leave it alone. Prices continue moving down, then it pushes up, break of this red up channel, break and test the high and pushes up. When it exceeds pretty much the length of this leg, I looked for a wider channel, which I thought it was moving up this green up channel, but there's no setups here. It's a new low. It's a first entry long pullback. This I saw this in real time, and I was really tempted when I saw this green bar form. I thought this break of the screen up channel had one attempt, didn't quite test the high. This could be the second attempt. The one thing I wasn't really sure of, because I like that it was bouncing off the EMA, potentially coming from a failed breakout of this range. One thing that kind of made me hesitate was it never broke below this big red signal bar. So there's no push and then recovery. So this is technically inside to this, and I'm very suspicious of inside bars. It has to be like a lot more things going for the setup for me to even consider the inside bar and taking a trade off of it. So I saw this in real time, was tempted, but I want to see a higher low, ideally within this blue trading range. As you can see, it goes up. It wouldn't have given you the 1 point scalp, then it flushed down. So if I took the trade, I think I would have gotten stopped out by this candle. Then pushes down, starts reversing. Break of this purple up channel makes one attempt to the high. Second attempt kind of creates a triple test, but this triple test doesn't really have anything else going for it because this trading range was still developing. It might have been here, might have been slightly higher, and this could have been a failed breakout. I wasn't really sure. Eventually, I kind of put it down here after more prices kind of printed on the bar, but I saw a triple test here. No setup though. New high, first entry long pullback, technically a second entry long, but this is a break of this orange down channel. May have tested the low, but it's a little ambiguous. Prices are really tight here because this is 7,006, and you can see down here is about 7,002. So this is a 4 point range. And I'm going for 1 point scalp where the candles themselves or the bars are moving about 2 points. So it felt dicey. The prices moved down. Break of this orange down channel tested low, and I thought maybe it was part of this bigger channel, but it wasn't even necessary because it never came back into play. It pushes up on this red up channel break, tests the high, pushes down, First entry, first entry long, pull back, potential second entry long here, but it's a bad signal bar. It starts pushing up, and right around here, that's where I established this potential orange up channel, but there's no second entries. I thought prices were moving just sideways. New high, it's a first entry long pullback. You don't really get a second entry long here, not a clean one. And if you did try to take it, this is a bad signal bar. And by the time this guy closes, it's pushing toward the high of day, which is leaves you really no room to scalp out. Then it starts moving down this green down channel. This green down channel, I thought, okay, there's a break, tested low. As I kept moving down further, I thought maybe it's part of this red down channel. I actually had this a little bit tighter previously, something like this. Breaks to the low side, and it starts reversing up. So this actually sets up for my one trade. But in hindsight, I think I just started. I wasn't seeing it as for what it was, and I was seeing it what I hope it was, and I took a trade off of it, which isn't a good plan because then I'm pretty much inventing reasons to take the trade instead of letting the market present itself with the reasons. So it's a new low. It's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. So this is what I was thinking about in real time. I was playing and thinking maybe it's this red down channel. Of course, then I later dragged it out to here. But in real time, I was thinking of something like this. Broke to the low side. So now there's less of a chance to come back to the low side because it already broke, technically tested the low. When it pushed up on this orange up channel, I thought, okay, it might be testing the high, but it pulled back this leg more than pretty much half the length of this guy. So I thought this is a pretty big pullback here. Made one attempt up, and in real time, when I saw, okay, I'm expecting potentially another candle up. When this guy pushed up, engulfed this guy completely and closed near the low, I thought there's probably enough momentum for 1 point scalp to test the low of this red down channel. So on the next candle I entered, it's a little hard to see, at the low of this guy to try to get a little bit more, a little bit less risk. So you can see I entered right here. Then it proceeded to just move sideways. So I'm taking a little bit of heat, but then I established this as a downward trend line. It didn't turn into a channel until later. So I was playing something closer like this. I can't quite do it. But this was collapsed as a trend line. I thought it was a resistance. Third touch rejection, push down. It also sets up for a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. And then it just kind of moving sideways. Finally gives me the scalp. And then it also set up this trade. If I didn't take it on this one, it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long failed on this one, and then it successfully fails there. It is confirming the down channel coming down. The thing that I looked at in hindsight, especially when these candles were printing, I was thinking, is it possible there's some kind of support here? If it did, then I'm selling into support, which is a bad idea. But I do notice it's creating lower highs every time. So it's lower high, all the way down. So it looks like it might be creating a second big leg down. So I thought this is one big leg, one attempt up, second attempt up, and now it could create a second big leg down for this measured move. So if I didn't enter here, I think I might have entered here because it just looks a little bit better on this signal bar. Pushes down, break of this green down channel similar to this red setup here. So broke, and now it's kind of reversing. But the difference between this orange leg up and this pink one is this recovery, it's pretty much taking back the entire leg pushed down here. Whereas this orange one only recovered about half, but this is pushing clearly all the way back up. So I'm not looking to go short. I'm just going to stay on my hands. Pushes up, creates a potential triple test, and you do have a second entry short. So there's a new low, first entry short, second entry short, count resets, localized area, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. When it confirms, unfortunately, there's no way to enter this trade because it's a doji. You'd have to trust the strength of the triple test, which I really wasn't sure of. Then prices continue moving. And this is kind of where it gets really slow. And there was no real clean second entry setups. So it just kind of pushes up what I think is this yellow up channel, which is very shallow. And then it moves into this trading range, which is very tight. It's only about 2.5 to 3 points. Pushes to the high side, it starts reversing. As you could look at the timestamp, this is already entering the last 30 minutes of the day. So just taking this one trade, which is, it doesn't look like much, but this is actually about 3 hours ago I took this trade. And if you just look further to the left, there wasn't really that much going on. So when time came up to here, I'm not that enthusiastic of trying to look for a trade to try to take one. But you do have localized low, first entry short pullback, second entry short, doji after doji. I didn't really like that. Pushes down what I think is this orange down channel. Kind of creates this potential sideways range. Well, actually, all ranges like this are sideways. It's just kind of pushing sideways, no setup. And if you look at the time step, it's getting to the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes kind of sells off gradually into the close. Very, very lackluster. As I said, it wasn't that, I guess it's not that surprising. Today is kind of a junky day. It's because, well, yesterday was a pretty terrible day. Not terrible day, but slow day. And I think it's because everybody's just waiting, waiting for what's going to happen tomorrow. So kind of dodged a bullet with this one trade, or not dodged a bullet, but just came out lucky on this one trade, which wasn't the best setup in hindsight. And other than that, I didn't really see any other setups today. So hopefully that was helpful.